Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. Yes, I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. Don't forget to follow me, connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. The Facebook page is Badass Business Coach. And if you're new here, don't forget to direct message me or email me, sandy@sandyballard.com, Sandy with an I. And let me know who you are and where you're listening from so I can give you a shout out. And speaking of shout outs, congratulations to my podcast listener, Nicole, who just had her baby, little Hazel. She's so cute. So congrats, Nicole. And I know you'll be listening and binging me like you always do after you finally get some rest and sleep yourself. So congratulations on that. So, all right. Last Monday's podcast was about taking a look at your business, your career, and yourself from the outside in, making sure that what you're seeing is what your clients see and experience, identifying what needs to be upgraded, purged, cleaned out, all that good stuff. So, for me, I edited, deleted, and basically cleaned up my scheduling page so it wasn't so confusing. And I'm doing some mindset work. I restarted a 30-day challenge that I did back in 2019 with Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's kind of just a cool 30-day challenge. And, what did you see when you looked at from the outside in? Did you identify any processes or procedures that needed updating? Did you like what you saw? It can be stressful to, quote unquote, see and accept the shit that isn't what you thought it was. It can be frustrating, eye-opening, and overwhelming realizing you have more work to do when you thought things were going well, right? Great, more work. How about shifting that mindset to help you see that you are now, going to fix things and to save time and frustration down the road by getting back on track now, or even making sure you're just moving in the right direction to achieve your goals. Whereas most people, they don't do a view from the outside in. And by the time that they see shit's gone sideways, they're losing clients, money, way off pace from achieving their goals. And, then that causes more stress and anxiety. And you'll have to work harder. In podcast 285 last September, I talked about how working all the time and that mindset of it's got to get done, it all has to get done, it all has to get done now, or even I'm doing whatever it takes to make it, which are great things. However, never giving yourself a break can end up in burnout. And so when you've taken that look from the outside in and you saw that things weren't, exactly on track, it can be frustrating and stressful, but a hell of a lot less stressful than down the road when you're so far off the track because you've been burying your head in the sand and not seeing what's going on, not taking a look from the outside in. All right, that's why I want you to do that. So you can see that and save your time and save yourself some, perhaps, burnout later on. Ironically, last week I talked with 3 people that were at that stage, the burnout stage. I had been warning them. One, I kept asking, hey, when are you going to do something fun for you? When are you going to take a day off? What are you doing this weekend for fun? And he'd say, well, I'm having fun. I'm loving what I do. I've got to do whatever it takes to save this company. And within a couple weeks, he emails me and said his friends noticed he was on the verge of burnout. Yes, he finally heard it. So they wanted to know, well, how long should I take off? Should I go out of town? Should I just take time away from the office, stay in town? What should I do? It's like, just do whatever will make you happy and relax, right? And then another client, we sat down for our session on Friday, and I just looked at her, and you could just see it all over her face. I asked her, are you okay? And she said, I am so burned out. And I knew it. I knew it was coming. We talked about this, and she and I do talk about this every time we meet, twice a month, about personal time and things like that. She's now scheduled time off, but it's not for a couple of weeks. And she's not really doing what she needs. She's staying home to clean the house and get organized, which I can understand is, clearing out the clutter at home has been a challenge for her with a business and a 5-year-old. And it can feel good to see the things organized, the rooms cleaned, your desk cleaned, your drawers and laundry done. But the whole point is to take time off from work, not to work. And, she's nothing planned for fun or to relax. I asked her what she was going to do for fun. And her response was, well, I don't have anything planned yet. I can see if. And I was like, no. But, at least she's taking time off. The problem is she won't go into the office. She will stay away from the office. But she's still got her office emails on her phone. She'll still check the phone logs, but at least it's a baby step. She is not one to take a week off. And it drives me nuts. And it is a mission of mine, to get her to take a week off. But hey, at least she's taking a week off and doing something other than work. And the other person is a friend, not just a friend, but a friend, not a client, but, and she just doesn't know how to say no, and she's taking a vacation with the family and getting out of town, which is okay. But is she really relaxing? I don't know. She's got littles, Sometimes it's not always relaxing. It's fun, and it's a good time to reconnect with the family. But is it what you need? For all of them, and looking at how they're showing up until they take the time off. If I could see it and friends could see it, who else could tell? Clients, customers, staff, volunteers, all of that, right? I've talked so many times about that. If you're not operating at 100%, the percentage that you are operating at is how you're showing up for everyone else in your life. And you, the most important person. You're cheating yourself out of your best you. And burnout is so, unfortunately, so common. Self-care and that infamous work-life balance is the key to not getting burned out. But by the time you usually recognize it, you're in that stage, right? That's why people should listen and not dismiss me time, especially if your coach is adding it to your to-do list. So, what can you do? How can you avoid burnout? Well, listen to your coach, right? But listen to your body and mind as well. But the main thing is really just to take time off, to create your balance, your own balance. There are times when we have crazy deadlines and need to work more than the traditional 40 hours, or maybe you don't have a traditional job, right? But on a regular basis, do your best to not work extra. Like my client who usually takes Wednesdays off for her, has the last month or so, she's either had to deal with some of her father's doctor appointments and surgeries. She's had to go into work because other people have been sick or other doctors have been off. So she's had to be there, and making a lot of decisions for her son's future schooling, business purchases, hiring. She's been hiring a lot because they've been growing. She hasn't taken that time for her, and that was always her rejuvenate day. And the other I talked about a few weeks ago, his business partner just sort of checked out and left him to do it all. So he has been burning the candle at both ends. And he said, yes, I'm having fun and I'm energized, but he wasn't listening that he needed to take time off. He needed to stop. And the other one, like I said earlier, just never says no. So, it's simple, right? Just take time off, simple, it's easy peasy, right? I'm not saying you have to take a vacation all the time, but literally just shutting down your phone, your email, your mind for a few hours, especially if you can't take a full day off. Do something to take your mind off the office, take your mind off your work. Can you take a walk during the day? Take a full day off. Not everyone has a traditional Monday through Friday job, so take time when you can. It doesn't always have to be, Saturday and Sunday, like my client has Wednesdays off. She needs to get back to that. And she's not been working out because things have not worked out to where she can work out. And she's managing maybe one workout a week. And that's not doing what she needs for her body and mind. But whatever, re-energizes you, do it. Spa days, massages, beach or pool time, watching movies, concerts. Is there a favorite TV show? Whatever your thing is what you can do to help avoid burnout, to check out. Because if you're constantly, learning and researching and working and whatever you do, if you're constantly doing it, then when are you taking that mental break? Ironically, it's kind of weird. I used to watch the show Criminal Minds to relax. It sounds odd because if you don't know anything about it, or maybe you do, it's pretty intense. You've got to pay attention because there's so many moving parts. You have to give it your full attention. And that was why I watched it, because it would cause me to not think about anything else. So for that 1 hour, I was intently watching, and it allowed my brain to relax, So what about you? Can you take a long weekend if you can't take a full week? And trust me, prices to travel are ridiculous right now. So it may be a staycation, but what can you do for you? Schedule that time in. Yeah, maybe you do need to do some house cleaning, some deep cleaning, some purging, but what else can you do for you? And the whole thing is, people ask me all the time, what's the magic pill behind the time, work-life balance? I mean, there really is none. Balance is in the eye of the beholder. It truly depends on what you like to do for fun, to relax, and what's your job. If it's more intense, then you're going to need to take off longer periods of time, or perhaps more often, like long weekends, quarterly, versus the traditional 1 week off a year, 2 weeks off a year. For me, when I had my marketing firm years ago, it was a lot more stressful than coaching. I have to say, I love what I do now for a living. It just doesn't stress me out as much as it did back then. I don't have the deadlines. I don't have the customers changing things all the time. Now, I do have some clients who frustrate the hell out of me because they won't listen, but that's still part of it, and it doesn't stress me out. It just gets me in tune with them. So today and this week, I want to know from you. I want to hear from you. I want you to really think about, when's the last time you took time off for you? And what will you do for you? Or are you close to burning out? I mean, you've got to watch that. When's the last time you took some time off? When's the last time you did something for you? Or perhaps maybe you're great at separating business and pleasure, and you rarely, if ever, get burned out. I'd love to hear from you, hear what your secret is. What tips do you have, besides just really watching it and, taking time off? Not, like I said earlier, not everyone has the traditional Saturday and Sunday off. So what can you do? I work occasionally on a Sunday here and there, usually to finish the podcast, usually to get some, my week set up and things like that. But it's casual, and it's because I've also maybe taken some time off through the week to take a walk or to go sit at the pool. And I do have that luxury of working at the pool. I'm not in the pool. I'm at the pool, but at least it's sunny and it's outside and fresh air. So think about that. If you're working inside, maybe you're working at home, or maybe your office, the man Candy, he'll sit out he goes into his office, but he'll sit outside on the deck and work occasionally. So at least it's fresh air. That's the biggest thing, is wherever you are, think about that. Think about changing up your work environment so you're not so stressed out. Make sure you if you're not a big worker-outer, what do you do to relax or to energize your mind and your body? Even if it's yoga or take a walk, do something different, stretch. Think about those types of things. Some people journal, some people meditate, lots of stuff, but you have to find out what resonates with you. Just find something to do that you love. I mean, hell, even cut the grass. I don't know. I had a friend who used to love to cut her grass. She would just get out there and do it, and it just was mindless, and she loved it. And that was crazy. I was like, you just don't seem like the grass cutting kind of type. But she was like, I love it because I just don't think about anything, and it smells the fresh air, smells the fresh cut grass, and that. So, little things like that. So again, making sure you're taking the time for you, so where you won't get burned out, because burning the candle at both ends is not sustainable. All right? Have a great stress-free week. No burnout, and I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.